A 5.9 magnitude earthquake centred on the state of Virginia has shaken the east coast of the US. The earthquake shook buildings and caused people to spill onto the streets across New York and Washington DC. For more, North America correspondent Jane Cowan joins us now from Washington. So Jane, where were you when it happened and are you okay?
Hi Tam, yeah, I was here in the ABC and we definitely felt the wall shaking. It takes you a while to realise exactly what's going on, but we all looked at each other and said earthquake, and then quickly exited from the 6th floor of this building and found the streets here full of people. The same thing was happening all over town and in places like New York City as well. They are saying that this is one of the strongest earthquakes, Tam, to hit the east coast of the United States in possibly decades. It's 5.9 magnitude, as you say, and it was felt as far north as Rhode Island, on Martha's Vineyard, where the President Barack Obama is holidaying and was on the golf course and felt it as he was about to tee off. There are even reports that it was felt in Toronto, which is pretty far afield. They're saying, though, that it was centred on the state of Virginia, and it has caused tiles to fall from the roof at the Reagan National Airport, for instance, outside DC. It caused mobile phone networks to crash immediately afterwards. Trains have been disrupted, planes, so it's certainly throwing everyone off balance. And you mentioned Dominic Strauss-Kahn and the collapse of the case against him today in New York, and funnily enough, the District Attorney of New York, Cyrus Vance, was in the middle of his press conference about that when everybody felt the shakes and ran from the room, leaving him standing there.
And just more on that case, Jane, what was it that actually brought it all undone? Holes have been appearing for the last couple of months in the argument of the claimant.
That's right. Well, Dominic Strauss-Kahn arrived at court for possibly the last time today, and there was, as usual, this huge international media pack there. It was inside where prosecutors explained exactly how it's come undone. They basically said that it's credibility problems with his accuser, the housekeeper. They said that while they don't want to be seen to be condoning anything that Dominic Strauss-Kahn did, that she simply lied to them. They said it that bluntly, lied to them on multiple occasions about things great and small, and in cases like this where it's really one person's word against another, they simply couldn't take it to a jury when they weren't confident that they could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. In terms of Dominic Strauss-Kahn's reaction in court today, Tamara, he smiled after it was all over, but he made a fairly low-key exit, ducking into a waiting car. He did speak to reporters at his apartment later when they threw questions at him, and he just said briefly in French that he was eager to return to his country. His lawyer, Benjamin Brafman, though, did speak at court. He praised the decision as a courageous one, although he said that the district attorney basically had no choice but to dismiss the case because the reasons were so compelling. He also paid tribute to his client, Dominic Strauss-Kahn, and his wife, Anne Sinclair. Let's have a listen to that.
Unless you have been falsely accused of a very serious crime that you did not commit, it is impossible for you to understand or grasp the full measure of relief that Dominic Strauss-Kahn feels today. This is a horrific nightmare that he and his family have lived through.
And Jane, as it became increasingly obvious that the wheels were starting to fall off this argument, the accuser herself took the unusual step of going public. What's she been saying? Is she still going to pursue her civil suit against DSK?
We understand that she is pursuing that case, and her lawyer did speak outside court today again, and he said that he will be fighting that civil case. I should remind you that one of the problems here has been that the accuser had told this story that turned out to be completely fabricated of having been raped in her home country before she came to the United States in Guinea. And her lawyer made reference to that today outside court, and he said that he basically suggested that somehow the power and influence of Dominic Strauss-Kahn had led to this outcome. Let's have a listen to what Ken Thompson did say.
If Dominic Strauss-Kahn was a bus driver from the South Bronx, do you really think Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance or any of his prosecutors would care about what was in Ms. Diallo's asylum application? if Dominique Strauss-Kahn was a plumber from the Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn, do you really think that the district attorney would be running away from DNA evidence? If Dominique Strauss-Kahn was a construction worker from Harlem, do you really believe that District Attorney Cyrus Vance would turn his back on a 7-count indictment?
Jane, thanks very much for joining us this morning. It'll be really interesting to see if Dominique Strauss-Kahn's reputation can be healed to the extent that he can return to the political fray in France. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tim.